And welcome, everyone. We are now live. Blessings to all. This is the LYHT podcast, and this is episode 4, Is Magic Real? My name is Krystle Mishra, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host.
Hi, my name's McClean. I'm a spiritual life coach and intuitive healer, musician, vocal empowerment coach, and we're excited to have David here with us today.
What's
poppin'?
What's poppin'? David, what to say about this man? David Lyon is an incredible soul. He's an intuitive, a spiritual guide, magician, hypnotist. He's the creator of the Living Magic School. And to speak just straight from the heart, this man came into my life 2 years ago and, truly introduced me to magic, magic that is actually real, a real tangible experience for all of us in this life. And ever since then, my experience of this world, my experience beyond my 5 senses became incredibly heightened. And from then on, it's just been a wild journey. So I'm so honored and so grateful and excited for everyone to be introduced to something really beautiful and new today, because we're going to have a very mystical conversation. So welcome, everyone, and mostly welcome, David.
Thank you. That was such a warm welcome. I love it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So, do you want to begin with the questions, Krystle?
Well, I think how about let the audience get a chance to know David a little bit, because he has such a beautiful and unique story, and what his offering and his gifts are something that I don't know anyone else who offers what he does. So maybe, David, you can let us into your little world of who you are and how you became who you are.
Oh man.
That's big.
So, so as far as who I am, so I'm someone who's always been very passionate about magic and the mystical and what's possible, and anything in that realm. Growing up, I was inspired by Michael Jackson and David Copperfield and people of that nature who were just doing things on a really big level. And since I was young, I've always been tuned into certain things that a lot of people lose touch with. I was very, I very much kept my clairvoyance intact. That is my ability to see certain things that people don't see and feel things that people don't feel, hear things people don't hear. And I didn't understand that was something unique or just not common. Even if everyone has these gifts and abilities, I didn't know it was uncommon. And so growing up, it did cause me like a lot of pain, in the sense that, and I'm sure a lot of people could relate to this if they remember back. But for me, when I was growing up, because I was a bit of a weird kid, I wasn't into sports or doing what everyone else wanted to do. I was very much just in my own world and, talking to my imaginary friends and things like that. And, I used to, well, not only used to, I've always had the ability to hear what people are saying in their mind when it's of a certain vibration. And I'll explain what I mean by that, because I used to call it mind reading. But what I realize now, so for example, I would be there just drawing, doing my own thing as a kid. And then someone would come up to me and be like, oh, what are you doing there, David? But I would hear their mind say, what's wrong with you, David? Trying to find out why I'm not doing the things like the other kids. Mm-hmm. And so even though their mouth would be saying one thing, they would be vibrating something completely different. And so I would pick up on both languages and get confused as to why all these people kept seeing a problem with me, as like just trying to find what was wrong with me, which at some point led me to start looking for a problem that was never there, mm-hmm. which began my journey of suffering and trying to find myself and things like that. And it wasn't until I was, and then I grew up through life. I ended up becoming a street magician. We could go into whatever story you want, but I'll just kind of give you the snapshot. I ended up becoming a street magician. I was inspired by David Blaine and took that to certain heights, performed on TV for celebrities, so on and so forth, YouTube channel. And it wasn't until I was 25 that I met my first psychic, back in a time when I didn't necessarily believe in psychics. I thought that there were psychics in caves far, far away, and like 1% of the world were psychic. I didn't know that every single person is a psychic.
Mm.
And so I met this psychic and I was very skeptical, like most first timers should be. And she just gave me this reading that absolutely blew me away. Like every single thing that she said, one of the first sentence out of her mouth was, your mom was abandoned by her birth parents and adopted into a Jewish family, and your dad left your life when you were 3 years old.
Wow.
I'm like, that's very specific. You
Yeah.
don't normally look at a black guy and say you're Jewish, right? So I knew it wasn't just a cold read. I knew that she was tuning into something. And everything she told me in the session was spot on about my life and my family and my desires, including things that I had forgotten about. And then at one point, she had said something. She's like, by the way, make sure you don't use your mind reading abilities for manipulation. That's how you got killed in a past life. And I was like, what mind reading abilities? And she's like, well, you could see into people's minds. And I was like, yeah. I didn't realize that this was an uncommon thing. I thought everyone did this. And so I was like, yeah. And she's like, not everyone does that, right? And I was just like, whoa. And it was such a like eye-opening moment for me, because like when she said that, it just made sense of everything I had gone through in my life as a kid as to why I experienced all the things that I talked about. And it was just like, oh, that's why this happened and that happened. And then and then suddenly what has felt like such a burden ended up becoming a blessing, because she told me, she's like, well, she's like, you're meant to use that gift to help people see what they can't see, so that you could align them with more of their higher self, because you could see what's going on in their unconscious. You could see the beliefs they're not aware of. You could see their blockages. And so she just gave me the encouragement to pursue it in a different way and to actually use it more consciously as opposed to unconsciously. And that kind of started to unravel the path. And there's definitely, there's many different chapters and iterations to the path, but that's kind of how the story more or less began. And now here I am. I'm created a movement called Living Magic, and a big part of what I do is I support other light workers and spiritual coaches in developing unshakable confidence in their spiritual gifts and just become fully expressed in their shine and purpose.
Beautiful. We have a bit of a technical glitch because we're not actually live.
Oh, cool.
I don't know why. So
it's live on custom live.
Excuse me 1 second.
Good timing.
So, sorry about that.
Let me check. I think she's upstairs.
I don't know what the hell I did. I think I need Maya to fix this.
Yeah, I'm looking on her YouTube. It still says waiting.
Yeah, it does. So, okay, so you're set up. Okay, I'm gonna